thank you again, Berto, for joining Talks with Tia. I'm so thrilled to have you. So for those who are just joining who may not be aware of who you are, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. So just let everybody know who you are.
Hello, everybody. My name is Berto Colón. Most recently, you probably seen me in the Power spinoff called Ghost Powerbook 2. Prior to that, a couple other shows, Orange is the New Black, When They See Us, and I also work for Kettle One in the state of New Jersey. So there's a lot of people on here from all kinds of different affiliations that I have. So hi.
Cool. Well, nice to meet you. I am so thrilled to speak with you, and we're definitely going to get all into your character on Powerbook Ghost.
Yes.
But if you're not familiar with my talk series, I start them all off with fun, just little questions to get to know you. So they're going to be
Okay.
kind of random, though.
Okay. I'm game.
Okay. Well, first, I do want to know, have you been watching football? Been watching football?
So I'll have you know that I went to college on a football scholarship, but now I am a father with an 11-year-old and a 12-year-old. So I've not been watching football. I did watch some football yesterday and the day before, but I got to be honest, I caught up with basically the entire season in 2 days. So I know that the Chiefs are going to be playing the Bucks, which is interesting, seeing it as though Brady went over to the Bucks this year. But that's all I know right now, unfortunately.
Well, me too. I'm a Cowboys fan, so we ain't even
I
gonna talk
do.
about it.
I do own a John Lynch fan because from my days of playing ball and my days when I was a Bucks fan, because believe it or not, I was. I didn't want to just say that because people are going to think I'm jumping on the bandwagon. But he was my favorite NFL player. I played strong safety in college, and that guy was my idol. So I
Wow.
did. I do have an authentic NFL. That's like the authentic jersey that I have. The one I have, it's John Lynch's. So
Okay.
I just showed my age a little bit because only a few people might know who John Lynch was.
Yeah. I'll Google him later. So I do want to know if you could be trapped in any cartoon world, which
Oh,
cartoon world
geez.
would you be trapped in?
Ah. The Simpsons? That's a little, no, it's a little weird. I don't know. Maybe Ren and Stimpy. That would be a trip. Yeah, like if I can get caught up, if I could be Ren, I would love to be Ren and be trapped with both of those two. As a cartoon character, maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know what would be a good. But yeah, Ren and Stimpy.
That's a throwback. That's a big throwback. I haven't seen that since I was a kid.
Oh my God, one of my absolute favorites. I mean, it's not exactly a kid cartoon, but
Right.
it's pretty funny, pretty. It's crazy.
Now I did tell you that my questions were going to be random, right?
Yeah, you
Okay.
did. It's fair game.
So if I gave you an elephant, where would you hide it?
Oh my God, you gave me an elephant. Well, I do have a storage room that's probably big enough to keep him in there, but he won't be able to move around. I'll probably tie him up to a tree outside and just let him roam and do they grace? I don't know. I put a big bucket of food out there and water and just tie him up. Like in Puerto Rico, when people own horses and they didn't have a corral, they would just tie him to posts. So I would just tie the elephant to a big tree outside and just let him do his thing. That I don't know if that's not exactly hiding an elephant.
Right. I really just be thinking like the most off the wall things. Like, let me think of something that nobody's ever asked.
But was that a trick question? Was I supposed to like come up with some crazy remark like you can't really hide an elephant, like they're too big, blah blah blah? Was
I
that the point?
mean, it wasn't really a trick question. It was more so to see, like, trying to get to know your personality a little bit. What would you do with an elephant? But now I know you'll tie him up outside and, just let him do
I'll
what he
tie him
do.
up. I tie him up. I don't like caging animals. It's not. I'm not good with that stuff.
So if you're a lot like me, I don't match my socks at all. So do you wear matching socks?
Yeah. You know how they tend to go missing from time to time?
I think
I
my
get
washing
that.
machine eats mine.
Yeah. I think we all have a habit of something happens. Something is very common with that. Yes, I do match my socks, but from time to time, you have your favorite socks that you lose, and then you have to figure out a way to pair them up with something that looks similar.
Hey, it works. So, lastly, do you have an embarrassing story to tell us?
Yeah, but why would I tell it? I mean, we're just getting started. I'm supposed to try to be this cool guy, cool, TV guy.
Well, that
Um,
makes you fun. Everybody
yeah,
has an embarrassing story.
okay. I always think back to this one. I was walking across, not across campus, but I went to Fordham University in the Bronx, and it was winter. And I used to like to dress. I think about this all the time because I'm like, man, me and my roommate who actually joined, we used to like girls, for lack of a better description. We used to like get up every morning and be like, yo, what are you wearing? Yo, what are you wearing? What are you wearing? So I remember I had this Gap trench, like a long coat with a hood. It was really nice. I waited a long time to get it. Finally got it. I'm dressed in I used to work at Banana Republic, and I had these, I was all, dressed to the nines to go to class. I don't know what the hell was up with me, and I was wearing all these clothes, and I just went to walk across the street from Eddie's Parade to the McGinley Hall where we used to have lunch, and it was like I said, it had been snowing, and there was a little bit of ice, and I
Oh,
totally, I not only fell, but like I did a complete, like I leveled out with like I came off the curb, I slipped on the ice, and I like leveled out, like kind of like Keanu Reeves in that movie, what's it called, the movie, The Matrix? Like I did one of those,
you fell in slow motion.
like just completely laid out flat, like I was laid out flat, and my coat, my big 3/4 coat was flapping in the wind, and yeah, that was pretty embarrassing. There was
Wow.
maybe 100 people going into the cafeteria at that time, and they all saw it. So, but you
Oh
know what?
man.
I fell, I got up, and that was a while ago. But
Well, you
that
kept
was
it
one.
moving. That's all that matters.
I kept it moving. Yeah, that was a while ago.
So I
I
heard
had
you
a
mention Puerto Rico. Is that where you are born and raised?
born and raised till I was 14, 15, around that age. And then my mom had been working as a federal nurse in Puerto Rico, and then she transferred first couple of years by herself, and then she thought it'd be a good idea for us to move with her after she got her feet wet in the States, and we came over after, my brothers and I.
Okay. So how many languages do you speak?
So Spanish my first, English my second. I'm still having trouble with it apparently, and I'm also learned quite a bit of Portuguese. My wife is half Brazilian, half Puerto Rican. Her father was
Okay.
born in Brazil, and I've been to Brazil a couple times already. But yeah, so I've Portuguese is easy to pick up once when you're Spanish speaking, you can
Okay.
learn Portuguese pretty easily. So three. That was a long answer.
No, you're fine. This is all about you. So you answer the questions how you feel. Um, I speak English. I still have trouble with English. So um, Spanish. I got a C in Spanish. I know how to start a conversation. So
Where are you originally from?
I am from Durham, North Carolina, born and raised.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Are you
And
familiar with
you
Durham?
no, not that familiar. I've been to Hatteras a couple of times. Went out to surf there a long time ago to the Cape there, whatever. What do you call it? Yeah, the Outer Banks, north, right?
Yeah. I've been there.
So that was my extent. That was like maybe one, or I think I've done that once in my life. So I've been to North Carolina once, and I think I crossed it on the way down to New Orleans another time. But yeah,
Have you ever
Hatteras.
heard of Duke? Duke University?
Yes, is that where you went?
Durham is in Duke is in Durham.
Oh man, look at that. Where am I? What's going on? I should have known that. I should have known that.
See, I taught you something. You learn something new every day.
Learn something new every day.
So you mentioned your wife. I saw a picture. You have two daughters, or do you have
Yeah, two
son?
girls. Two girls, yeah, two girls, 11 and 12, and yeah, they're a
So
handful,
you're a girl
needless to say.
dad.
Yes, I'm paying the price for being such a good boy my whole life. Like my father has a funny comment about that because he says that life has a way of finding balance, and I totally believe. It takes a real man to raise a woman. So he that's how I've been viewing it since the second one came around because I thought the second one was going to be a boy. So I remember I was like, well, I guess life always finds a balance because it's going to
Well,
be
you can
hard raising
always
these
just try
girls.
again.
Mm, no, not my wife is done.
Well, being a girl dad is awesome, though.
No, it is. It is. We're kings. It just means that I'm a king, and they're, how it is. It's a wonder. They're wonderful. They really are, and they're super loyal. Not that I'm saying boys are not, but that was the other advice that my father-in-law, rest his soul, gave me. Is that the girls, they tend to be more loyal, and they stay. They come back and they stay and they stick around. So we'll see.
We'll see. So, I meant to ask you, what's your zodiac sign?
Oh, so May 18th, I'm right on the cusp, I guess, is that how you say it, of the next sign, which I don't know what it is, but I'm a Taurus. But I think it switches
Don't
over on the
don't do my
20th.
sign like that. It's Gemini, is the other one.
Oh,
I'm a
really?
Gemini.
When's your birthday?
June 14th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. See, so you on the borderline of being a Gemini. Greatness.
Yes, yes, yes. 2 days, but still a Taurus.
Hey,
Still got them horns.
it's all good. So let's go back to the beginning. When
Yes.
you were growing up, did you always want to be an actor?
So my original experience with this was I remember a play that I must have done in either kindergarten or first kindergarten. And I remember we staged the whole nativity, but it was a whole production. My grandmother sewed my costumes, my brothers too, and I'm not. I don't know. It's not like you're born to do something. I think you go through. I went through so many different things in my life that at that moment I wanted to do. But I always think back to that. That was a moment of such purity. And I kind of connect everything to that because the feeling that I get when I'm working now, it always brings me back to that moment of that clarity that I had at that moment, which was, you know, it wasn't anything that I per se put together. It wasn't like, it just happened. It was just an idea. But yeah, I think that's what kind of made everything as I got through college and I started working and I started discovering this world and I went out and I started auditioning. I guess you always want to go back to that pure feeling, and I think that's what I try to do every single time.
Okay.
So I guess that's I don't know. That's a long answer to say that I don't think I always wanted to be an actor, but I do remember that feeling that day, and it was fantastic.
Well, let's put it like this. If you could do another profession outside of
Mm,
acting, what would you like to do?
that'd be easy. Formula One race car driver, without a doubt. It is the one thing I would have done for sure. I played football, and I had that in my goal set for a long time. I reached, every goal that I set as far as like a sports career was concerned, I reached. I got hurt in high school, even though I still got I got to college on a scholarship. So being a football player, it was something that I had on my mind for a long time. But I think somewhere, I had my father, and has such an influence in us with go-karts and motorcycles and motocross, and I've always been, sort of an adrenaline junkie. But Formula One, without a doubt.
Are you a good driver?
I am an excellent driver.
All men say
My
that for
range.
some reason.
No, I don't like to jinx myself. I think I'm pretty good. I'm aware and I'm very defensive when I drive. And my father always taught me to anticipate, and I think that's why I'm a good driver. So I anticipate. I try not to. You always got to look ahead, right? It's not you don't focus in the car in front of you. You're focusing 2, 3 cars, you know, quarter mile ahead. So that's why I think I have the skills for it.
Right. What did you study in college? Did you go to school for acting?
Yeah. So essentially, I went to school for football.
Oh, your
And
scholarship.
no, but you know, I found I had my original path was engineering. I was not going to get there because I was in a cooperative program with Columbia. I went to Fordham University, and you need to have grades to do that. So then I changed my path, and then I ended up getting a Bachelor of Science in, yeah, general science. But during my last 2 years of college, it's kind of like when this bug kind of bit me, and I have been, you know, working in the city for a long time, and I had a lot of friends who were going on in auditions, and I kind of started doing that as well. I had a friend who was studying directing at SUNY Purchase, and I started to participate in some of his projects and things. And so I can't say that it started out that way, but it definitely ended up that way. I had an extra year for football, my redshirt year, which is an extra year essentially, and all my electives were art and, you know, video design and editing and something to do with the medium. Something.
Okay. Well, you kept yourself busy. Um,
Yes, I did.
so do you do any good impersonations?
No, I don't think I'm one of those guys. I'm pretty terrible. I it takes a lot of studying to do that kind of stuff, and I don't have good ones. I wouldn't bore you. I wouldn't bore you with it.
Well,
With them.
at least you're honest with yourself. That's always a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be, right? I think
Right.
that I may have one or two down, but that takes a lot of work, and I think honestly, I think people do some real serious preparation. I just don't have the time.
Okay. So while you were in college, what would you say you gained from that experience? How did your college experience help you with your acting career? What would you say you
So
gained?
I think in, you know, the general way college helps all of us, I think, is, you know, we learn to be self-sufficient and self-reliant and manage problems. You know, needless to say, I had a lot of challenges, um, grade, school, you know, activities, uh, maintaining a curriculum, maintaining a grade point average, combining, you know, being a student athlete is it's a very challenging thing. You know, it's not a you're not on just for the season that you play. You're on year round, and I think the biggest part is just actually growing up on your own. You know, like being those are real formative years for anyone. You know, just because you're on your own, you're creating a community around you. You're learning about other people. You're learning about yourself. And yeah, you know, I had to. I had a an interesting curve when I got to college. There was a lot of, in many respects, I was ahead of the game, but in others, I was kind of behind the eight ball, and I needed to grow up fast. You know, I needed to get with the program quickly and understand what, you know, competing with other people is like, because life is a competition, right? And then, you know, getting through school and hustling. It's the hustle. You learn the hustle.
Right. It's definitely time for growth. I learned a lot through college myself. So what do you do to prepare for your roles?
So I like to study a lot, and I studied acting with a guy who left a real indelible mark in me and taught me that it's not about the end result. And like anything else, you know, it's doing the homework, doing the work, and arriving at a place by accident. Like arriving, like say you're reading these lines and reading these lines, and you're into your third or fourth hour, and then suddenly you own the words, and now you're living the words, and then you arrive somewhere that kind of didn't make sense where you thought you were going to be. That is the way I prepare. And then I kind of analyze that moment versus the previous moments, and how it's not so much a feeling, but how much did I really challenge the text, and how much
Okay.
work did I do to actually bring that alive.
So, speaking of analyzing, when you watch yourself on TV, do you watch as a consumer or do you criticize yourself as you're watching?
I watch as a consumer and as someone who's looking. I mean, I try to make sure that there's you know, very organic moments in the work that I do. And I guess as a consumer, I think most people, we live in a world where people are very informed now for some things. And as far as entertainment is concerned, people know what's up. So yeah, I watch as a consumer, and I think most consumers would definitely want to make sure that they can dive in that trip with you, right? So it's about finding organic, believable people to do this work. Because
Okay.
you can tell when people are full of shit.
Yeah. So, what would you say has been the hardest role you've ever had to play? Like just difficult.
So, I don't know if I have. I think they're all challenging, and I don't know if there's any difficulty. So my hardest role was a stage role that I did years ago. Is that am I allowed to talk about an
You can
older
talk
role?
about what I told you. This is your show.
Yeah, so it was I played Armand. It was a role that required a lot of it was just kind of old English and it just real hard. The language was so hard. So it was hard to get past that and then focus on the role. And it took a long time. I remember that that was a long time. So yeah, that was the hardest role for me, being on stage playing Armand.
Do you have a favorite character out of all your characters?
Um, I really enjoyed the guard and when they see us, and because I've actually been able to spend the most amount of time in anything with this character of Lorenzo, I'm really enjoying Lorenzo Tejada right now. So I think of all the roles I played, Lorenzo is the most. I think he's unique because he has a unique set of circumstances, and I think the most the most prevalent one for me is the fact that he has to ascertain so much control without actually being present, and that is actually that's been fun to kind of dive and then he's surrounded by very strong people too,
Right.
notwithstanding of course Mary J, which there's no need for description there, but
Right.
just exercising strength in ways that you have to do in a non-traditional way, right? Like more like without actually being present and with sort of like a calm energy about this guy that there needs to be, and yet he has to command a lot of control. That it's a challenge. It's a lot of fun.
Okay. And we're actually about to dive right into your character on Power. So I do want to know, how did you get the
I did that.
role?
I did that on purpose.
See, look at you with the segue.
Oh, I've done
So
a few
how
of
did you
these.
get the role of Lorenzo Tejada? I'm pretty sure we all want to know, like, what was the audition like?
So ironically enough, I auditioned for Anthony Hemingway and one of the producers in the room a little while ago, and it wasn't Lorenzo Tejada. It was another role in the show. Um,
Oh,
a little bit of a backstory. I've actually auditioned with Anthony Hemingway about 3 or 4 times prior to this, including a couple of pilot episodes, a pilot or two that I had gone in for. And then Anthony came out with the casting director, and or actually, I went in. I came back for the callback for that other role,
hmm,
and as I'm leaving the callback, one of the first times, you don't normally do this in an audition, but you kind of give a brother a hug and stuff at the end of it because we sort of known each other for a while, but it
right.
just kind of felt like I had done a good job. I didn't know where it was going to go. There's no guarantees. And as I'm leaving the building, I got a call from my agent saying, "Hey, there's something else that they want you to consider." And then that conversation translated into, "Hey, they want you to do this. How do you feel about it?" I was like, "I feel great about it. How do you feel about it?" And then the next thing I know is the role was mine. So essentially, I didn't directly audition for Lorenzo Tejada, but I auditioned for another role in the show, and it worked out. So I'm pretty proud about that. Pretty proud
That's
of that process. Yeah,
so. Have you had a chance to directly work with Courtney Kemp and 50 Cent? Personally, have you got a chance to meet with them?
of course. I mean, I met Courtney the very first day for my first table read. Usually do a round table read for all the episodes, and she was extremely nice. She remembered some of the work that I'd done on When They See Us and Orange, and obviously she was behind that offer as well. And to have her know my name and kind of like she expressed how excited she was to have me on board, and I basically was gushing at that point to be part of this ensemble as well. That felt pretty special, and I've not had the chance to meet 50 in person, but we did, for episode 10, we did a virtual table reading, and he was there. But Method Man I've met, and he's another one who's, I grew up with that guy. I mean, it's really crazy. It's really surreal sometimes. I sit there, I'm like, God, like these people, these people had some. There's a piece of me that's I grew up with them. So it's kind of bizarre.
So, were you watching Power, the original series, before being casted?
I did watch a few episodes, and I caught up on most of the stories actually. Ironically enough, for the very first year, I actually had read for the role of Tommy years ago, and then a couple other roles that I never got on Power, which was disappointing. But this is life, right? You keep at it, and here you are, and here I am. So I ended up doing the first spinoff from the series that I could never land when it was still on. So
hey, I mean, but you still made it. So
yes, I'm still there.
Who you thought shot Ghost, but I don't know if did you get that far?
Yeah, so for a while I thought it might have been Elizabeth Rodriguez, but I'm only biased because I actually worked with her for so many years. No, I had a feeling it was Tariq the whole time. I think that the way that story was set up was there was going to be a hostile takeover, and whether it was going to be him or maybe Tommy, I'm not sure. I thought it was either going to be one of those
Tommy.
two guys. Yeah, it was either going to be one of those two guys. Like, I mean, of course, it's crazy to have his own son do it. I mean, that just we're here today because of that, right? But yeah, I thought it was either going to be Tommy or Tariq.
Okay, so would you consider Lorenzo an antagonist?
I don't know how to answer that. I think that Lorenzo, in the story, obviously, he antagonizes the story a little bit. I think that he's a pivotal character for sure. The setup of the story is, the Tejada Empire is the antagonist to Tariq, although right now, obviously, the story has been set up for both families sort of to work together. But obviously, there's going to be conflict coming up, and there's a lot of opportunity for antagonism. That's for sure.
There is a lot of headbutting. So, what would you say is a reason why Monet and Lorenzo parent differently? Because they have two completely different parenting styles. So, why? Just what would you say about that?
Well, first and foremost, him being inside and her being outside, and again, it goes to what I had spoken to you about before with regards to that control.
Mm-hmm.
In my own life, I've learned that sometimes control is you find control in different ways. I think Monet's character has a way of finding control, and Lorenzo has his own. But the challenge and the difference is mainly governed by the fact that he's not present.
Right.
So if he's not present, how does he exercise the control and the influence that he needs to have in order to maintain his business, right? So there is a very fine line that you have to draw there, and I think Monet is incredible, and she's aggressive.
So
she gets it done.
How is it working with Mary directly? I know you said it's amazing. She's obviously a legend. So how is that working with her directly?
It's I mean, working with her it's absolutely I try not to think about it too much because I think it's literally impossible to not be affected by the fact that you're in front of an artist such a talent like that. So I try to put that aside, which has a benefit because then I can walk away and then still be as thrilled. But in the moment when I'm there with her, I mean, it's just she's on fire. She's has a commanding presence, knows her role really well, knows that life really well, understands the character really well. is incredibly, giving person on set, and she knows how to. She's sharp, man. She's diva. She's a dream to work with. What else can I say? She's married.
That's
Sometimes I watch her old videos, and I go back and I'm like, oh my God, like this woman, she's just so talented. You know what I mean? Like when you get to work in front of somebody like that, it feels like I need to elevate my game that much more. So
dope. That's
yeah,
amazing. That's super
yeah.
dope. The moment where Lorenzo had Kane beat up in jail or prison. So, do you consider that tough love, or did you think Lorenzo went too far with that? Because we've had many power debates about this. So I want to hear from you. Do you think that Lorenzo went too far, or was it considered tough love?
So I'm biased, obviously. Kane is another. One of the things that I think one of the things that I do is I try to match the energy of the person, right? And I think the writers did such a wonderful job of giving me the opportunity to sort of match Kane's energy. And also the way that I have to parent him, the way that Lorenzo has to parent him, has to match his energy and his explosive nature. So no, I don't think he went too far. I think Kane went too far. I think Kane was out of control. And that situation, that was a situation that called for something very specific. And he can't do it himself. I don't think that Lorenzo would, what father would kind of, teach his son a lesson in teaching him a lesson a lesson in the way that represents the environment that he's in. He's a streets. He's a thug, right?
Right.
He's a streets guy. What am I going to smack him upside the head? And no, you gotta kind of you gotta learn the lessons according to the environment that you live in.
Yep.
So
He
that's
learned his
very,
lessons.
yeah, I mean, and it stung. I think it stung him a little bit. I mean, underneath all that, there's that's a father and a son at the end of the day, obviously, but he that was necessary.
Yep. Well, shout out to Woody. He's a great
Yeah,
actor.
he's amazing. I love
He's
that kid.
amazing.
All
Um,
my kids are wonderful.
so I don't know how familiar you are with Kanan's character, but for some reason fans have made up in their mind that Kane is Kanan's son. So what are some of the weird like power theories that you've heard? I know you've seen some online. Have you heard that
Well,
one?
yeah, that's one of the weirdest one I've heard. Um, there's a lot of questioning, obviously, whether or not those kids are mine,
Yeah.
but they are. They are. Genes work in a weird way, right? Like you
All right,
never
hold
know
on,
what.
wait. Y'all heard it. Lorenzo said those are his kids, y'all. Stop
As far as
questioning.
I know, those are Lorenzo's kids. I mean, any twist of the story, you guys got to understand too. Like all this story is in development all the time, and so these little nuggets of information come out sometimes from week to week, month to month, and so I'm also getting the information and diluting the information the same way that you all are. So,
That's
but as far as my preparation is concerned, and as far as what I know in order to do what I need to do, those are my kids.
okay. Those I will make sure I relay the message that those are your kids.
Please,
So here's
please.
another one that's been
Uh-huh.
lingering in the air. I don't know if you can even say anything about this, but for some reason they feel like you knew Ghost in his other life before he got shot and killed. You knew Ghost. I don't know where that theory came from. We just gonna
I've
throw
seen
that
that
out
one
there.
too. I've seen that one too, and I think that's a nice logical, it's a nice logical deduction. I guess you deduced, whatever you can call. I guess that would be that makes sense. Obviously, they must have known each other. They were they were in the same business for a long time, and there might be some history there.
Right.
Of course, he's dead. He's dead now, so I don't know how we can develop that story. But maybe we can have a flashback. Maybe we can have them meet in a nightclub somewhere. Who knows? You
Who
know.
knows? Maybe.
I mean, dealers, they all know each other, right? I mean, they know. The players play. All players know who the other players are. I mean, realistically speaking, right?
That's not a bad idea. And actually, my very first guest for series two was actually Lavelle.
Lavelle, yes, yeah.
Yes, shout out to Lavelle. He's a great
Shout
actor.
out, yes.
He
He's
also plays
amazing.
your son, Drew Tejada.
Yes, he
I
is.
do want to know, what is it that Lorenzo sees in Drew that Monet doesn't? Because that was another conversation that keeps coming up. Is, you want Drew? No, I'm sorry, not you, Lorenzo.
Hard to distinguish.
Lorenzo wants Drew to take over, but Monet is really like strong head on Kane. So can you kind of give us an insight of why? What does Lorenzo see in Drew that maybe Monet is not?
Well, I think that Drew is a combination. I mean, I think for me, it's the rage and the actual control that Drew possesses, right? It's a different personality altogether. Kane's personality is more of the explosive, and that is beneficial for some things. It could be detrimental in others. And I mean, for me, I think Lorenzo has a vision of Drew as being someone that kind of can combine the best of all of. He possesses all the skills necessary to run the business the right way. He can be aggressive. He can be thoughtful. He can kind of be reserved when he needs to be. He's approachable. Not that Kane isn't, but he combines a lot of the qualities that you would want in somebody. He's level-headed, and I think he's a smart guy. He's a
Okay.
smart guy for it. Ironically enough, his personal life is a great it's a great parallel to kind of have kind of sub, a subplot of his story, which I find so uniquely interesting. But yeah, I think that's essentially in a nutshell. He has the brains and the brawn.
So, is Lorenzo aware of Drew's lifestyle on the show? Because I know that was also another conversation that he mentioned that, when he had a conversation with Diana, that the whole family knows. But does that include Lorenzo? Does he
Well,
know?
I really, in my research and in my preparation, that has not come up.
Okay.
But if logically speaking, and if you follow the story, he's been inside for 10 years. I think that Drew discovers, we are led to believe that he discovers that side in the present time, in the moment now.
Oh, okay.
And so I would assume that maybe that's not something that Lorenzo knows right now.
Okay.
I think Lorenzo's not operating with that information.
Interesting. Interesting. That's very interesting. I think it gives it a different outlook of everything, kind of speak, because Monet knows. So it's like we the audience know and Monet knows. So that's probably why her parents is a little different. That's interesting.
Yeah, and I think and look, I'm not giving away secrets and I'm not hiding anything. I think that I'm just like you. I'm the consumer of this information as well. And from the information that I have.
Speculating.
Yeah, I'm speculating.
Okay. So, is there a character on the show that just blows you away, like with their performance? You can't say Mary. Anyone else just blows you away?
Yeah, I think, oh man, I don't want to.
Well, I know they're all amazing. We don't want to make nobody feel bad, but is there anybody that just blows your mind when you watch the playback?
Yeah, look, Kane is a very I think the three kids, I think all three of them have this. They combine, and them personally, obviously amazing people, but just to see, Lavelle and Woody and Latoya are. I think those three together the makeup, if you will, of that Tejada, the next generation of the Tejadas to me, uh, they bring the most, I guess, the most joy, if you can say that. But I'm personally invested in what they're doing, obviously. But I really like all three of those together.
Awesome, awesome. Definitely can't wait to see more of the
Yeah.
Tejadas in Powerbook 2. Courtney did reveal that we will learn more about the Tejadas, which I'm
Yes,
excited about.
yes,
And
yes.
I do wonder, do your kids, do they watch, do you let them watch Powerbook 2?
Yeah, so it's hard because we have to fast forward certain parts, and 12 and 11, they're wise. They're obviously, they're super proud of their dad, and they're starting to understand a little bit about that world. Um, so I let them watch, but we don't, it's, it's very, they watch with us.
I get your drift.
There's just a lot of there's some things in there that they're not privy to, and I want to maintain their innocence for as long as I can. Yeah,
That's fair. That's really
yeah.
cool.
But they know
Um,
what's up. They watch it.
well, they know what's up and they're proud of their dad. That got to be
Yes.
a great feeling.
Thank
So
you.
what do you hope to see next for Lorenzo? I hope maybe getting out of jail, but
Yeah. Well, uh, he's got a lot of time to go still. Um, I think that the story development for Lorenzo is a good one. I think there's a lot of opportunity to continue to create this wonderful arc. Um, and I got to be careful because I cannot reveal anything at this point in
yeah,
time.
don't
But
reveal nothing.
I think that what you'll see is you'll see a nice elevation of action, right? Like you'll see this kind of this family conflict and this ordeal with Tariq, and you'll see a lot of the inner workings of the Tejada family, and there's going to be a lot of conflict for sure. I think
Okay.
that that struggle for control is a big part of what's coming next. I think.
Well, I can't wait. I definitely can't wait. A huge fan of the show. We have a
Thank you.
fan question, which I thought was pretty funny. I'm finna put
Okay.
I'm finna put it on the screen. I
All
thought
right.
this was funny. Chantel Sherry, which is actually my best friend. Shout out to Chantel.
Okay.
She said, "Do y'all ever start dancing on set and chant 'Go Mary'? Because everybody knows Mary likes to dance. So, what kind of fun do you have with Mary on set? Do y'all be dancing and having cutting up?"
I've not done any dancing. As you can imagine, the stuff that I go in to do is somewhat intense. So we've not had the opportunity to do a little dance after. But I promise you that if we do any dancing, I'm gonna definitely try to grab it on a phone or a video, and I'll have to use that as a outtakes somehow. But no, no dancing so far. I'm sorry.
That was pretty funny.
Boring. Sorry, I'm terrible. Sucks.
Uh, well, that's actually my time, but I do want to know, do you have any upcoming projects that we should be looking out
So
for?
yeah, so I'm pretty excited about the next season of Ghost, and I'm currently working with some friends to hopefully produce something in the very near future.
Okay.
I also I also did a short which I will be making announcements. I worked on a short about a week and a half ago, and I'll be making some announcements on that. I can't reveal too much about it, but I'll be making some announcements in the coming future. But right now, fingers crossed for the second season of Ghost Power Book 2.
Well, we know it's coming. We're just waiting on the return date.
Yeah, yeah, we have some dates in mind that I also have to wait to reveal, but yeah, and it's gonna be an interesting year with all this COVID, and hopefully, the most important thing is that this industry. I have a lot of hopes as far as like what this industry can do in as much as kind of leading the way and in showing people that you can continue to work in these times of COVID and stuff. And I think that the industry as a whole has really grabbed up. It's been sort of setting the standards on how people are getting back to work and trying to get back to normal. So
Yeah.
super proud to be part of that in some ways.
COVID kind of hit us out of nowhere, but we're making it work.
Making it work as we can. I mean, these interviews would not be the same without the situation. But yeah,
right.
We'll see.
I have thoroughly enjoyed speaking with you. It's been amazing talking to you tonight, and I appreciate you for joining my talk show.
My name is Berto Colón. I play Lorenzo Tejada in Ghost Powerbook 2. Check out season 2, coming soon to Stars Network. And I've enjoyed my tea with Tia thoroughly.
Yay! Thank you so much.
I mean it. I've been having tea the whole time.
Yeah, so I left my tea in the refrigerator. The
you can go get it now. Yeah, you can go get it now. This has been really fun, Tia. Let's do it again.
And give me some tea.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have to catch back up. I'm going to be reaching out for season 2, probably afterwards, because I want to revisit some of the things we talked about. So
that'd be awesome. Yeah, that'd be great.
Right.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Have a great night. Bye.
And peace to all of you for joining us. Thank you so much. Bye.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.